Hey guys, welcome to another Checkerboard Chat. This is Trenton Duffer. That's Rob Harvey. Coming off a big offensive night for the Vols. They had 63 points. Over how many yards did they have? I don't even know.
They had like 600 something.
420. All right, so we'll just say 650 or so. They had about 650.
I think it was less than that, but that's okay.
Yeah, less. But
somewhere. Anyway, but they gave up. No, it was more than that. Yeah, because then they gave up 743 yards. It's a program record, if that just tells you anything. They gave up a program record in total yards.
Almost in back-to-back
and
games.
They win by 26 points.
Yeah.
So, you got to give it up for the offense on that one. But defensively, really, really rough.
It was rough. And you talked about that record-breaking performance. Last week against Kentucky, Tennessee actually gave up the third or fourth most total yards.
Fourth, I think.
In team
no, it was
history.
third. It was third.
Yeah, because it was more than Oregon in 13.
So now they've 1-3 in the last against Kentucky team that just clinched a bowl and a 3-win Missouri team.
Yeah,
and also just from a perspective on the season, that's the 10th time they've given up 100 because they gave up 225 yards to Crockett.
Yeah,
and then I can't think of his last name.
Witter.
Ish Witter had over 100 yards too.
Yeah, 163.
So that's the 10th person to have over 100 yards this season against the Vols. And Crockett's a true freshman. That's the fourth true freshman with Crockett, Dowdle from South Carolina, Hurts from Alabama, and Travion Williams from Texas A&M. So, I mean, that's horrible.
It really is. And, you look now that, Tennessee's top four games – that they've given up the most yards. It's Troy in 2007?
No, it was like 2012 or 2011.
Okay, it's one of those.
Because it was Dooley.
Yeah, it was Dooley. So it was Troy. They gave up over 700 yards. Well, that's second now. I mean, now that Missouri is...
They gave up 704 yards or something like that. Yeah.
Missouri is first, Kentucky is fourth, and Oregon in 2013 is third. In those four games, Tennessee's 3-1.
And so I mean, I guess it does. I guess the offense bails them out a lot. But another thing, Missouri ran I heard 110 offensive plays.
That's also tied for the most offensive plays ever run against Tennessee.
That's insane to think about. 110 plays. That's just not right. That your defense should not be good.
Yeah, it tied the 110 plays Kentucky ran, and I believe it was 97.
No, it was 2007.
Was it 2007?
4 overtime game.
That's right. So, and this wasn't even an overtime.
I hope you didn't put that in your...
No, I didn't. I didn't.
In your story.
I just now thought of it.
It was 2007.
But, yeah, I mean... And this game didn't even go to overtime. This is just a normal
fourth-quarter
game.
Too.
It was.
And at the same time, they gave up 420 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Yet Drew Lock threw the ball 43 times.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's
not right. That shouldn't happen.
It's not.
But, I mean, as bad as the defense was, Josh Dobbs, you can't say enough about his performance. Probably his most, I don't know if it's his best performance just because 2014 South Carolina was such a gutsy performance, but his most, I think his complete, his top most complete, is that a performance?
His most complete.
Yeah, performance, because he didn't have he didn't start off bad, he didn't get bad at any time. He was solid the whole game. I mean, 15 to 22, 223, 3 touchdowns on the passing wise, and then he had 190 rushing yards on 10 attempts and 2 touchdowns, and had a 70-yard run where he just weaved and bobbed in. I mean, he ended his career.
He did
unbelievably, and with the passing touchdowns now, a stat, he became the 4th quarterback in the SEC to have 50 passing touchdowns and at least 50 passing touchdowns and at least 25 rushing, where he has 50 passing and 29 rushing.
Yeah, and that's
with Manziel, Tebow, and Dak Prescott. So that's a pretty elite
group
list for a quarterback to be in. That a quarterback who people wanted benched.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't make sense.
And I was one of those who did want him benched. Not last night, by any means, but earlier this season, and even last season, I had my, Josh Dobbs hate.
I always stayed strong. I mean, it was just the right decision. He's a veteran quarterback. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, sure, he had a couple bad games, but overall, he was a great quarterback. And honestly, he'll probably be at all SEC second team, but because they'll put Hurts at first team, but I think he's better than Hurts. Because I think Hurts just has a lot more pieces around him than Dobbs does. And Dobbs has done so much with a offensive line that's been hurt, that's been not very good this year, with wide receivers who are inconsistent, with a running back who had the ego that was the size of Neyland Stadium. So, I mean, he's had an unbelievable just career in
He
general.
has.
And
yeah,
you can't say
like,
enough about it.
Like Josh Malone said last night, I mean, they burnt 2 red shirts for him.
Yeah.
For him to come save the team.
And one of them was in a game in the second half against Alabama his freshman year when they were losing 35-0 at the half. I was at that game. That game was horrible. But 35-0 at the half. So, I mean, that's like a kind of a waste. And he was hurt for that freshman year. Like, he got hurt against Vanderbilt maybe. I don't know. It was one of those games. But he got hurt, and then, they burned his red shirt for that. But I don't know. I mean, he's just had an unbelievable career at Tennessee. And, I mean, he could finish off with going from winning 5 games his freshman year to a 10-win season possibly, and a Sugar Bowl win possibly.
Yeah. We'll talk more about Tennessee's chances of getting in the Sugar Bowl a little bit later. But, yeah, I mean, so I guess this is a question that everybody's kind of debating now that Dobbs is done with Neyland and done with everything. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say...
He's not done with everything. He's still got 2 games.
Oh, yeah, he's still got 2 games
He's still got 2
left.
games.
Like, Vanderbilt and then the bowl game. But where do you... And he's not number 1, I know. But where do you think Dobbs ranks on the all-time Tennessee list?
I don't know. Because, I mean, you have so many quarterbacks. You got... Peyton's obviously number 1, I think.
like by far.
Then you have Andy Kelly. I mean, you have Heath Schuler, Tony Robinson, Condredge Holloway. Like, there's all those guys that are up there. I mean, Dobbs has been like... He's been a solid quarterback at UT that has put them back on the map. I think he's better than the Eric Ainges and... I think he's better than Casey Clausen, honestly.
Yeah, do you think he's better than T. Martin?
Well, it's hard to judge because T. Martin had 2 seasons. I mean, he won a national championship, which is like he had a great year that year, but at the same time he had Jamal Lewis for 4 games. He had Travis Henry and Travis Stephens. Let's just talk about the fact that they had that in one recruiting class. That's unbelievable. But I mean, I don't know. They're up there. They're close together. I think just because Dobbs had 4 years, maybe he's above him. But at the same time, T. Martin won a national championship. So you can't. That counts for a lot.
Yeah, it does. It does. And if Dobbs were to win like a Sugar Bowl, like a New Year's Eve bowl,
so I mean, I think he's like top 7.
Top 7.
Top 7.
I could see that.
Just because of what he's done for the program itself, putting them back on the map. They started off, like I said, 5 wins, and now they have the possibility of winning 10 games and winning a New Year's Six Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you said he was better than Eric Ainge?
Yeah, I think he's better than Ainge and Clausen.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Clausen was really good, and Ainge was good. But
is he better than Tyler Bray? That's the real question.
Yeah, he was better than Tyler Bray.
So, I'll say this. I think that Dobbs has been the best quarterback Tennessee's had the past decade.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
We'll say past decade.
Yeah, definitely.
Past 20 years.
Past 16 years. Like, from the start of 2000.
From the start of 2000
you had Clausen in 2000, 2001, 2002. Like, Casey Clausen was a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. And, I mean, people hated on him, but I thought he was a great quarterback.
He was.
But I think Josh Dobbs was better just because of his ability to run. He has 29 career rushing touchdowns, which is impressive for a quarterback.
Ainge was good, but Ainge just, I don't know.
He couldn't. I don't know. He was good. He was a good quarterback. He got hurt a lot, but he was a good. I mean, he led him to the SEC championship his senior year and his freshman year. He did that.
And we had old Jonathan Crompton.
Kiffin made good his senior. People hate on Crompton, but his senior year, Kiffin made him into not a very good quarterback, into a good quarterback.
Yeah,
though.
He did.
Like, he wasn't that bad by the end of that last season, so I don't know.
And then Tyler Bray, and then it was the El Worley.
Well, it was Sims.
Yeah, it was Sims.
Slash Bray, and then it was Worley, and then it was Dobbs.
Oh, Worley.
So, yeah.
The days of Worley. Those were good days.
Worley wasn't bad, though.
He wasn't. He was just... He
literally had nothing.
He was in a trash system.
I mean, he wasn't good, but he literally had nothing.
He had CP there for a while.
No, he didn't have CP.
He didn't have CP?
Bray, Hunter, and CP all left. Cordell Patterson, for those of you at home.
Yeah, sorry.
They all left at the same time. So, and Michael Rivera, too. So, Worley had no one.
Yeah,
Worley had Marlon Lane and Rajon Neal for a season, I think.
Yeah.
So.
But back to Dobbs, though, I've never seen a quarterback just do what he did last night. Just 190 rushing yards. Like,
on 10 carries.
Yeah, and like Marcus Mariota had that like long 78-yard touchdown run last year.
Yeah.
But Dobbs' 70-yard runs was one of the best quarterback runs.
I think what was impressive, I've never seen him run that fast. Yeah. I have never seen him run that fast in my entire life.
He was booking it.
After the game, they asked Barnett and Malone, "Hey, what do you think when you see Dobbs run?" And Barnett was like, man, I'm glad he's on our team. And then my favorite was Josh Malone. Josh Malone was like, I just block and I turn around and go, oh, there he goes again. And I thought that was just like the coolest, like that was the funniest thing. Because, I mean, that's what it is. Yeah. It's like he breaks the pocket. There was that one run where it was third, like 14, and he's running around in circles in the backfield, and he like breaks a couple tackles and picks up a first down. It's like, oh, at that point, I'm just like, oh, there he goes again. Like, cool, happened again. Like, you're so used to it. So, I mean, he's been a good quarterback. Like, he has been. And
he really
although
has
his
been.
arm has been very inconsistent at times. I mean,
he
that's
had
South
that
Carolina.
7-yard bomb to
that
Malone.
pass to Malone.
I still think it's the best of his career.
I probably would say so, just because he stepped up and threw that Kentucky pass last year at Kentucky. I was at that game. It was a very impressive pass because the pocket was collapsing on him, and he just threw it like. And the Kentucky guy was all over Malone. He just threw it perfect to Malone. So I don't know. I kind of think that Kentucky might have been better because it was a longer pass too. But at the same time, that throw was money yesterday. It was absolutely perfect.
It was. And Dobbs, since South Carolina, he's really just been like just deadly.
And I mean, people talk about that. I was about to say it's Tennessee Tech, Kentucky, and Missouri. So it's not very much competition. And he always dominates those guys. But I mean, he is definitely turned, like something has like clicked since those games.
Yeah, if you're Vanderbilt or whoever the bowl opponent is, like this is not a time that you want to be facing Josh.
Right, and it always seems to come to that. But I mean, I don't know. Vanderbilt has a good defense, but I just don't know if they'll be able to stop. If they continue, if DeBoer actually I guess DeBoer's actually woken up, you know. I think a lot of Tennessee fans are actually mad that they're putting up this many offensive yards because it means, DeBoer might stick around for another year. Yeah. But, I mean, I just don't know, like, with the combination of the runs, the combination of Alvin Kamara, John Kelly had over 100 yards yesterday. Kamara had, I think, 50-something, but he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But that combination, and then Josh Malone's playing out of his mind. Jawan Jennings is Jawan Jennings, he's a dog. Yeah, Ethan Wolf has gotten some receptions.
He has.
Jason Kroom can block real well. He can make catches when need be. Tyler Bird, I mean, they have run all those plays. I just think,
and then Brandon Johnson provides a decent little, spark there off the
bench. That is true. I just think Tennessee is kind of hit, and I mean, it is definitely worse opponents, they found a rhythm offensively, and I think that
they have.
I think and I'm going to go hot take, I think one of the reasons is because Jalen Hurd's no longer on the team. Yeah. Because I think he was a liability. I think the board kind of said, we have to start him because he's been here for so long. He's this big. We have to start him. But now with him out of the picture, him not averaging 2 yards a carry running into his own offensive line because he doesn't know how to hit a hole. Now you have Kamara and Kelly who run so hard, who are so good at breaking tackles. I just think they're in a better situation. They found a rhythm. They're having fun. They're having fun.
Yeah, and last night, John Kelly had 101 yards. Kamara only had 55, but Kamara had 2 touchdowns.
And he had a really impressive, that was that 28-yard run, where he's weaving, breaking tackles. It was very impressive. And, I mean, he's still coming off of a knee injury. I think there's a sprain or partial tear or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
wearing that big old knee brace.
Kelly averaged 5.5 yards a carry, and Kamara averaged 4.5. And, Kamara had 2 touchdowns. John Kelly had 1.
John Kelly had the 27-yard
run
right up the middle where he came unblocked. The offensive line, that's another thing, just real quick. Offensive line played really well, which I think it masked the fact that, Missouri's not, in Kentucky. But Drew Richmond, I thought, handled because I can't remember the guy on the end for Missouri, but he was supposedly pretty good. Yeah. Drew Richmond handled him pretty well. Which
Dobbs was sacked 1 time. He was hurried a few times, but
it was probably the offensive line's best performance, I would say.
I'll say, yeah.
So just overall offensively great performance, defense.
No turnovers. That's another big thing.
Yeah, that is. I think that is the first time that's happened this season.
I think so.
Because they came in leading the nation or leading the SEC in interceptions. Yeah. So they had 12, I think. So that's where Dobbs can kind of hurt you, but he makes more plays than not. So
last thing about the offense. Josh Malone is one of the greatest interviews. I love.
He's so okay. No. His quotes are just.
His quotes are just you're just wait, what? But I don't know.
I don't know. It's very comical. I will say that he is hilarious just to listen to because it's just like his comment.
Yeah.
I'm oh, there he goes again. That's funny. That's hilarious. But then there's sometimes where you ask him some question and it's one sentence. Well, I think we did that, and it's okay, cool.
Well, Charles Folger, the other day on Wednesday at practice. We talked about that on the last Checkerboard Chat a little bit, but he's up there for sure. But my number one is still Brian Randolph. Like, him saying that he was. God, what it was a pro day? What did he say?
Yeah, I wasn't there for that.
It was something like, oh God, it's one of the biblical characters.
Samson. Yeah, Samson, because they cut his hair. He ain't powerful anymore. I saw that and thought that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
But yeah, he's definitely one of. He was at the game yesterday.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of games. Yeah, but Malone's interesting. I was so excited, let me tell you, when Kongbo intercepted that ball, because I thought for sure they were going to bring him in there to interview, and then they didn't, and I was really disappointed. Yeah. I think there's a reason for that. I was really hoping Kongbo would – when he picked the ball off and when he ran into the end zone, I was hoping he'd take his shoes off, tie them together, and hang him over his neck and be like, all right, I'm done now. All good things must come to an end, like his tweet. He hung up his cleats, so he was actually doing it.
He had to have quit, right?
He had to have quit.
Like, he had to have quit, and then he was talked out of it or something.
Hey, but honestly, I'm pretty sure the reason they played him so much yesterday was because they were trying to convince him to stay next year. And, I think that pick six might help.
And he needs to.
I think that pick six might help them get him to stay.
Because the Vols are losing LaTroy Lewis, Corey Vereen, and likely Derek Barnett.
They're losing Derek Barnett.
They
need him.
Yeah.
They need him. Like, and who knows when Tuttle's going to come back. McKenzie should be back, but, they're in some trouble next year in that. They need him. So,
and it's funny because that's been the most consistent position this year, and then next year it's just going to be
D end.
D end.
Yeah, but I think he might play D tackle next year. He
could.
But the thing is, he had one tackle last night. He didn't play very well. He got pushed. He is part of the reason they ran for so many yards. He just got every time they just push him to the side, and he struggled definitely. Yeah. And Vickers struggled. Vickers only had 2 tackles. Kyle Phillips struggled. Defensively, middle line. What has happened to Darren Kirkland? I think he's still hurt, maybe, because they had to take him out of Kentucky because he was such a liability out there. And then yesterday he was bad again, and Colton Jumper had to come in there a lot. I don't know. I think he must still be hurt because he I don't know what is I don't know what's happened because I thought at the start of the season he has a chance to be first team All SEC the way he played last season.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happened to him. Defensively, they just struggled. Stephen Griffin, they never need to play. He looked bad. They had to put him in since Kelly wasn't playing and Warrior got hurt. And he missed a bunch of tackles.
He did.
Elliott Berry was meh. Cortez McDowell was meh. It was a lot of mehs out there. Griffin was playing safety, but and the
a lot of mehs on defense. The offense was clicking on all
Rashawn Golden played pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, Golden played pretty good.
And Abernathy played well again. Mm-hmm. I think he's been the most consistent defensive player. Sutton was Sutton. So.
Yeah. And Derek Barnett was Derek Barnett.
Yeah, he had 6 tackles. Which usually he doesn't get a lot of tackles. He just gets all the sacks and tackles for losses.
So
but
he's now what, 1 away from
tying Reggie White's record and 2 from breaking. Which he's going back to Nashville, his hometown. He went to Brentwood Academy. So
that would be something.
There'll be a lot of people there rooting for him.
Do you think he gets it?
I think he does. He terrorizes Vanderbilt.
And
so
then Vanderbilt they don't have the offensive line.
But at the same time, Vanderbilt's going to be dangerous. Ralph Webb is good. Ralph Webb's better than Boone Williams, JoJo Kemp, Benny Snell, or Crockett, or whatever.
Did they hang on to beat Ole Miss?
Yeah, they beat him 38-10 or 38-17.
That's what I thought. Because I saw it was 20.
They beat him bad. It was a dominating performance. Yeah. And the way Tennessee's run defense is playing, Ralph Webb could run for 300 yards on them. Yeah. That could very well happen.
What's scary about this game against Vanderbilt is that now Vanderbilt's playing
for a bowl eligibility. Yeah, they're playing for a lot at stake. So it's going to be a fun game.
It is. It's going to be a really fun game.
Tennessee opened up as a 9.5-point favorite, which I kind of expected on the road.
Yeah, and then the SEC championship, Alabama opened up as a 21-point favorite against Florida,
which I think will only rise, especially because I thought LSU was gonna. I didn't think there was any chance Florida would win that game, but I think Florida State will beat Florida. I think Florida State's offense, I don't know if they can keep up with, if Florida can keep up with Florida State's offense, because Francois is really good at quarterback. So.
But, all right, transitioning now, let's talk about bowl games. Bowl possibilities.
Okay.
There's a lot of possibilities about where Tennessee could end up.
I think the one that people are most looking forward to, and the way that this season would be a success, like a complete success, is the Sugar Bowl. And I think it could very well happen. I think, honestly, Florida winning has given Tennessee a better chance to make the Sugar Bowl. Because if you think about it, if Florida loses to Florida State and Alabama, and gets blown out by Alabama, which is going to happen, that's 4 losses. Who cares if they won the SEC East? They got blown out in the SEC Championship or they got beat.
Yeah.
They're 9-4. Tennessee's 9-3 with a win over them.
Yeah.
A&M is 9-3 or 8-3 right now. Right. Yeah, they're 8-3 right now with the game coming against LSU next week. They're without their starting quarterback. They only beat UT San Antonio 23-10 yesterday. Yeah. I think if they lose and Tennessee beats Vanderbilt, I think you pick Tennessee over Florida, you pick Tennessee over A&M, and you pick Tennessee over Auburn.
Because Auburn will lose the Iron Bowl.
Auburn will lose the Iron Bowl, which makes them 8-4.
Yeah.
So I think they have a really good chance. They need to finish strong, beat Vanderbilt. They might need to rely on LSU. I kind of still think that Tennessee would get it over A&M because A&M has losses to Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Trevor Knight might not be back for the bowl game. They probably is not. And so you have to look at that, take that in consideration if you're the Sugar Bowl committee. You have to think, their starting quarterback might not be back, which is a game changer.
It is.
And so I don't know. I just feel like Tennessee has a very good chance to get in that. I think you pick Tennessee over Auburn because if you're the Sugar Bowl committee, you look and be like, and you're like, okay, 8-4. Auburn's won some good games, but they lost to Georgia. Tennessee beat Georgia, and Auburn doesn't have a quarterback. Jeremy Johnson is a bad quarterback.
He is. He's
and
terrible.
Sean White's been hurt. John Franklin's bad. Jeremy Johnson's bad. So I think that's like a huge factor. You think if you're on that committee, you think we want a game that's going to be like going to be a really good game, and I think like it could be a blowout if Auburn is in that game solely because they don't have a quarterback and they can't.
Or if A&M's in that game.
Yeah, because A&M won't have a quarterback possibly. No. So I think Tennessee's a good chance to either. I think if they beat Vanderbilt, they'll either go the Sugar Bowl or the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they stand. I think obviously not being able to go to the SEC championship game, not winning the SEC East is a bummer. But I think bowl wise, it probably works out better for them.
Probably set them up better.
Yeah.
Because, you look at if Tennessee goes to a bowl or goes to the SEC championship and gets destroyed by Alabama, which would likely happen.
Yeah.
You're looking at 9-4.
With 2 bad losses to Alabama, which, it is Alabama, too bad. A loss to South Carolina and a loss to A&M. Yeah. So, I don't know. And I also think, like, if you're the committee, you have to look in who's playing hot right now. And if Tennessee comes in winning 5 in a row? No, 4 in a row. 4 in a row. And scoring this many points. Yeah. And you've got A&M limping in. If they beat LSU, but they're still limping in with losing 2 of their last 3 conference games.
Yeah.
And barely beating UT San Antonio. And Auburn comes in, having lost the Iron Bowl, having lost to Georgia like recently. I think Tennessee probably has a good shot. I don't know if I'm not guaranteeing it, but I think it's a good chance. If they win. They have to beat Vanderbilt, though.
They have a really good shot, yeah. And like you said, if Tennessee beats Vanderbilt and LSU beats Texas A&M, then, you kind of have to go with Tennessee in that spot because they're the best choice. In the Sugar Bowl, if Tennessee makes the Sugar Bowl, they play
either Oklahoma,
a Big 12 opponent.
So it's like either Oklahoma State, or
West Virginia.
But West Virginia got killed by Oklahoma.
Did.
So
it's likely
it's the
Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Likely.
I don't know, though. Oklahoma could not make the playoff, and they could go to the Sugar Bowl because I think it's either like you choose the top team at the time to go to the Sugar Bowl for the Big 12, which is the same with the SEC, I think. So like if Oklahoma doesn't make the playoffs, if it's Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and Michigan, or I don't think Ohio State or Michigan will be, or like I don't think they'll both be in there. But if Oklahoma doesn't make it, they could play Oklahoma, which I know there's probably going to be some Tennessee guys who are really going to want to be beating Oklahoma.
That would just be a fun game.
That'd be an offensive showcase. That's what
that's
would be.
That's like last year. Like last year, I don't know what bowl was Michigan and Florida in last year.
Citrus.
Was it the Citrus?
They were in the Citrus Bowl last year, and Michigan absolutely beat the tar.
And then Tennessee beat the tar out of Northwestern. So you kind of wonder.
It should have been switched.
It should have been. Like Tennessee should have played Michigan.
I understand why they did it because Florida was coming off the SEC, being in the SEC championship game, and they didn't play that bad against Alabama. They lost like 29-10, I think. Yeah. But you should have known Treon Harris was their quarterback. Michigan was an offensive powerhouse at the time. You should have known that was going to happen. But I think Sugar Bowl or Citrus Bowl is what's going to happen if they beat Vanderbilt. If they don't beat Vanderbilt, Tax Slayer.
Tax?
Music City Bowl.
Yeah.
Probably Music City Bowl.
Yeah.
Or Belk Bowl.
If they don't beat Vanderbilt, then definitely the Tax Slayer. Music
I don't
City.
even know the Tax Slayer, honestly. Music City, Belk. Yeah, Liberty, something like that. Birmingham Bowl. Something bad like that. I don't know. They'll fall very bad. Yeah. But the thing is, I think Vanderbilt's still going to make a bowl game because they have 5 wins, but it's like their top like APR or something like that, where if you have 5 wins, you can still go to a bowl game. It's something like weird like that. I learned that the other night.
Yeah.
Last night. So Vanderbilt still has a lot to play for, but
they do.
I think they might still make a bowl game even if they lose.
Yeah. So just to finish up here, is last home game of the season. This is your first year covering it, I know, and this is really my first year covering it. I mean, I went to a few practices last year, but this is our first year covering games. What did you think of it?
I mean, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a great experience. Like, this has always been like kind of a dream of mine to cover Tennessee football. So I mean, it's a dream come true. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty awesome experience. I would have loved to been in the crowd because I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Like, I've been a Tennessee fan my whole life. Like, I go to the University of Tennessee. Like, it's you can't blame me for this. So I'd have loved to have been in the crowd for the Florida game, but I also loved being down there on the field, like listening to everything, like how loud it got there at the end of the game. That was a cool thing. I mean, it was a great experience. Like, I thought it was a great experience. Definitely different, like eye-opening. To go from one day reading about like what these guys are saying in post-game conferences to actually being there and listening to them. So.
Having to listen to whatever Butch nonsense he's not
as great as it sounds.
We're going 1-0, guys.
Honestly, like I am a little. I had high expectations, and it let me down just a little, just like because I have to. I had to like sit through Butch Jones' press conferences Monday and Wednesday, and Players Tuesday, and so you heard the same thing over and over again. So it kind of got boring after a while for that. But like game wise was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
listening to all those guys, and not having to listen to drunk redneck fans think they know everything about football.
Yeah,
which was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and halftime hot dogs.
Yeah, and post-game pizza.
Good stuff. Amazing things.
Good stuff.
Amazing
Free
things.
drinks. M&M ice cream cookies.
Oh, the fudge bars.
I'm
gonna miss that.
Getting to see Vern waddle out of the CBS booth. That's always fun.
But yeah, I'll miss Vern too. Being a senior, that was my last home game. So it's tough. It's tough just because, like you said, I would have loved to be a fan for my last home game, but I got to be up in the booth, and that's a dream come true in itself. So it's been a fun trip. I still have another semester to go, and I'm gonna love covering basketball.
And we still have Vanderbilt. We could go to New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean
that's why we really are pressing the Sugar Bowl because we want to go to New Orleans.
Oh gosh, if I get to go to the Superdome, like
dream come true, man.
Dream come true. That's
I've seen that. I've driven past the Superdome like on the interstate, like real close, or like even on the road, like next to it. But like I've never been in it. It's huge, huge.
Thank you guys for joining us, not only today but this whole semester. It's been this Checkerboard Chat was just something that we wanted to try out, and it's not like we don't have millions of fans, but it is we love doing it. And our digital producer Altov, we couldn't have done any of this without him.
Yeah, we could have.
Nah, probably not. John Kennedy, want to give a big shout out to him for setting all this up.
Psych.
So, just thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And,
eat a lot of turkey for us.
Eat plenty of turkey. And we'll see you guys next Sunday, talk about the Vanderbilt game and just where Tennessee goes from there. So, again, this is Trenton Duffer. That's Rob Harvey, and we'll see you guys next week.